It is now the new year, and that means only one thing, and that is a ton of huge new video games. We haven't heard from the Xbox Game Pass team since the middle of December, but today they have dropped some fantastic news. Today we will cover all 16 games that are coming to Xbox Game Pass for January and beyond. With that, my name is Fletcher, this is Xbox Nation, subscribe for more Xbox content every single day, and let's jump into these exciting new additions. First up, we have a game that dropped onto Game Pass as of yesterday, and that is the BioShock-inspired first-person horror game known as Close to the Sun. In this game, you play as Rose, an inquisitive journalist who comes aboard Tesla's city-sized ship known as the Helios to find and rescue her sister, Ada. It doesn't take long in this game for events to go sideways, and things are very much not as they seem. I have played this game myself, and while the story does start out slow, there are plenty of lingering questions and bizarre mysteries going on. The game has a rough 6-hour playtime and is definitely worth experiencing, as it was very engaging and definitely has some heart-pounding moments. It's available right now on console, cloud, and PC. This next game is easily one of my current favourite games of the Xbox Series generation, and that is the hardcore first-person shooter known as Hell Let Loose. This game is set in World War II and is an online tactical FPS that puts teams of up to 50 players against each other in nail-biting and intense combat scenarios. From experience, this game will require teamwork and has a very heavy emphasis on voice communication and tactics to defeat the other team. You can expect a lot of huge large-scale maps from Omaha Beach to Carentan, and even desolate landscapes of the Russian countryside as either soldiers or tank engineers. This game is beautiful, but you have to ensure that you have your wits about you, as one shot is enough to kill you. You will certainly need to hone your skills for this excellent multiplayer shooter, and it comes to Xbox Game Pass for console, cloud, and PC on January 4th. Ubisoft are blessing us again with another Assassin's Creed game on Xbox Game Pass, and gamers will finally get to experience one of the first games that arrived for the next generation. Assassin's Creed Valhalla follows the story of Eivor, who is a legendary Viking warrior, as you explore England's Dark Ages, and you also get to experience the snowy countryside of Norway. This Assassin's Creed is quite possibly the largest entry in the franchise's history, with over 200 hours worth of content and gameplay on offer. There is plenty to experience, as you can imagine, and I still get enthralled to this day when executing a raid on a local settlement or castle. This is well worth a playthrough when it comes to Xbox Game Pass for cloud, console, and PC on January 9th. Joining Assassin's Creed Valhalla on the very same day is the indie darling known as Figment. We recently had the inclusion of Figment 2 towards the end of 2023, but now we can get to experience the fantastic prequel to this action-adventure game. Figment has always had a pretty unique concept and not only puts you in a surreal universe, but has you attacking foes and taking on some pretty complex puzzles. The music in this game is exceptional, especially with the boss fights that you will encounter, as they are all centered around their own musical beats. I loved my time playing Figment back on Google Stadia of all things, and I cannot recommend it enough for an indie experience that is incredibly unique. Now, if you're a fan of baseball but don't like the simulation accuracy of the MLB games, then you can try the arcadey nature of Super Mega Baseball 4. This comes to Xbox Game Pass on January 11th, courtesy of EA Play, and lets you hit, pitch, throw and slide into home plate with this signature arcade game. In terms of this franchise, this game is really just a direct upgrade with the team chemistry system, loyalty, new traits, new legends, and new player scaling that make the game a great upgrade for all fans. As to be expected with any arcade sports game, you can expect some wacky characters, gameplay elements such as headshots, and some very over-the-top gameplay and celebrations. We Happy Few is coming back to the Xbox Game Pass library on January 11th, and it's great that many will get to experience this action-adventure game by compulsion for the very first time. This game is set in a retro-futuristic city in an alternative 1960s England, where the inhabitants are somewhat possessed by a drug known as joy. There is a very heavy emphasis on the story within this game, and the survival nature always feels a bit secondary, but that's not a bad thing at all. You will come across a lot of story twists and turns throughout your playthrough, and the procedurally generated world makes no playthrough the same. This is an incredibly unique and well-crafted experience by compulsion, and even though it does have a few flaws, it it is a game that needs to be experienced right now. This month seems to be another great month for horror fans out there, and we are getting the absolutely phenomenal Resident Evil 2 remake. Seeing this game arrive onto Game Pass is fantastic, and many gamers will now get to experience this genre-defining masterpiece. Capcom did a fantastic job of resurrecting all the best parts of this game and making them look, sound, and play like a current-gen game. The zombie combat is satisfying, and exploring the dilapidated ruins of Raccoon City is a thrill. I cannot recommend this franchise enough, and the experience of playing through the new Resident Evil 2 for the first time establishes a new standard for remaking classic games. It is available for Xbox Game Pass subscribers on January 16th. Keeping in the horror theme and joining Game Pass on January 16th is Those Who Remain. In this game, you will confront uncomfortable horrors, keep your sanity in check, and survive the night in this story-driven first-person psychological thriller. From my own personal playthrough a little over a year ago, this is a game with quite a few cool concepts, but has a rather weak narrative. While gameplay is more focused on progression through locations via finding keys to locked doors, this game is what you might come to expect with puzzle-ish style games. There are some very tense and creepy moments when navigating around the world, and instead of jump scares, the game does focus more on a skin-crawling atmosphere, which the developers have absolutely nailed. If you're interested in horror experiences, then it's well worth a try, especially on Game Pass. Before we dive into the remaining games today, do consider subscribing for more Xbox content every single day. I cannot thank you enough for the continued support, and remember to check out our website xboxnation.co.uk for any games, gift card, and Game Pass subscriptions. One awesome indie game that I cannot wait for is the dizzying and action-packed Mecha Ball. This game lets you loose and gets you to explore and conquer 4 distinct worlds filled with an array of rampaging robots, massive bosses, and obstacles straight out of a pinball table. This looks incredibly fast-paced and well-polished, and I love the details such as bouncy bumpers to launch yourself faster and into the air to take down enemies in a variety of different ways. This is certainly a unique-looking indie game, and I think it's high time we saw some more great top-down action shooters, and this certainly looks to scratch that itch. It was announced back at the Xbox Extended Showcase last year, and was announced for Game Pass day 1 and arrives this year on January 25th. Now, one game that was not announced at the Game Awards but has been announced for Xbox Game Pass is Botany Manor. Botany Manor is an exploration puzzle game where you play as a retired botanist called Arabella Green. From the developer's words, there will be a lot of gardens to discover, all set inside a beautiful countryside surrounding, and due to this, the game is meant to be relaxing and a peaceful environment. The puzzles you solve will actually come in the shape of growing plants, where you will have to find seeds, pot them, and carry your seedlings to the right environment. This seems like a great looking puzzle game that really captures the complexities of plant life, and if you like puzzle games, then keep this on your radar. It comes to Xbox Game Pass sometime in spring 2024. One game that has really caught my interest is the beautiful animated game Sopa. This game, as you can tell, takes huge inspiration from the film Coco, with its absolutely outstanding animation design, and promises to take us all on an engaging journey. You will follow a young boy named Miho who stepped into his pantry to get a potato for his grandmother's soup. With that, he is pulled into a distant fantastical land where he must retrace his steps of a mysterious great traveler before him. You will get to venture through a world of endless deserts, floating mountains, and talking beasts, outsmarting thieves and meeting quirky characters along the way. It looks like a fantastic indie game and is the first from this new studio, and it arrives onto Game Pass day 1 in Q2 2024. This next game is a sequel, and the initial game has been on Game Pass for some while, and this game is also synonymous with the achievement hunting community. With a stunning art style and a jazzy, addictive soundtrack, Genesis Noir stole our hearts when it launched back in 2021. Nirvana Noir adds color this time to the beautiful expanding noir universe, and even more jazzy tunes to enjoy. There will be a lot of tactile interactions, generative art, simple puzzles, and musical toys that were featured in Genesis Noir, but with Nirvana Noir, there seems to be a richer plot, larger environments to explore, and dialogue interactions. It comes to Xbox Game Pass sometime day 1 in 2024. Open Roads was revealed all the way back in 2020, but has since been announced to be launching onto Xbox Game Pass in 2024. Open Roads looks to be following in the first-person storytelling footsteps of its predecessors. But rather than being confined to a single place like past Fulbright games, it will, quite literally, have you hit the open roads. On this journey, you'll be seeking to uncover the mysteries of the protagonist's mother, who, following her death, they discover may have had some relationship with a man who wasn't her father. Open Roads really ups the ante in terms of art style and looks absolutely stunning. And we don't have to wait much longer as it comes to Game Pass on the 22nd of February. The new indie game Harmonia The Musical was just announced at the Game Awards last year, and it looks to champion beautiful and meaningful stories. This upcoming indie game saw the developers, The Odd Gentleman, work closely with the artists and developers from the deaf community in hopes of creating a new kind of music-focused game. The game has various characters, some with hearing aids and signing to one another. The story seems to follow a young girl who is hard of hearing, exploring how to best explore her love for music. This looks like a great game, especially adding to the inclusion of gamers everywhere, and the plus side is that it's also coming to Xbox Game Pass day one. We don't have a fixed release date at the moment, but expect to see more coverage in 2024 as we learn more. Block got an announcement not too long ago by Annapurna Interactive, and is a multiplayer co-op game about the joy of flight and collecting adorable creatures with your friends. In this game, players will be flying shepherds, each of whom is collecting a herd of airborne creatures. The game is an ode to the joy of flight and discovery games such as Journey, and you will start with a small herd of hover sheep who you will nurture and fly them towards fresh, untouched pastures. Along the way, you will discover the secrets of the beautiful uplands and its wild creatures. This looks like a great indie, and Annapurna Interactive have always had a knack for finding these absolute gems. This comes to Xbox Game Pass sometime in 2024. Arriving into January, we also have the next entry in a fan-loved series, and that is Turn Up Boy Robs a Bank. This will be entering Game Pass day one on release and aims to follow up on the impressive first entry. The developers are bringing some changes from the original, such as top-down shooter and roguelike elements, which will definitely shake up the traditional formula that we all know and love. One thing that certainly hasn't changed though is Turnip Boy's life of crime. This seems like it's going to be an amazing indie darling, especially for Xbox Game Pass, and I cannot wait to play this game upon release. What would you rate the Game Pass offerings for this January? Let me know down below with a score out of 10, and let me know what game you're looking forward to. Whilst here, subscribe for more Xbox content every single day, and check out the video on screen now of 10 awesome games coming to Xbox this January.